Greetings everybody, my name is Tommy the Game Master and welcome to my channel. Well, today is election day, and for those who don't know, I do enjoy politics. Reading history, economic philosophy, and political philosophy is something I do when I take a break from games. I won't tell you what part I am for or who I'm voting for. Quite frankly, both candidates suck. One shows the corruption in our government, and the other shows, while pure anger at the situation doesn't solve the problem. Since it is election night, I decided to purchase and play the Political Machine. Now, I did get the 2012 version a year ago and it was okay, but I decided to spend about $10 and see if the updated version was good. Well, it's a good thing these games are only about $5 to $10 a piece, because as far as upgrades go, you get more in your average Madden update. But what about the Political Machine itself? Is it worth playing? Yeah, if you understand politics and want a game around it, it's pretty good at turning the whole election into a strategy game. The idea in the Political Machine is to win the presidential election by either picking a cartoon bobblehead character of a real politician or creating your own and then run against a person from the other party. In most of the videos, I picked either Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton as the two players on the board. While the main mode is a single campaign, there is an actual multiple ladder campaign that can be unlocked by $4 DLC. Yeah, an actual campaign mode in a game about a campaign is now DLC. Go figure. Like I said in this story, the idea is to win the presidential election, and this is where I applaud the makers of this game. They did some homework and did some polls. Each state has their own issues, and they're pretty accurate to what's happening today. In the newest update, they switched my home state of Colorado from a default slight red to a default of slight blue. Anyways, you said how many turns you want the game to last. You then go from state to state and campaign. You use your money to build campaign headquarters to get cash, but you can also build outreach centers that allow you to pick up endorsement and hire political operatives that will let you change the way people see you in each state. Since each state you visit has different issues, you will have to tailor your campaign to take on the most important issues, and be careful not to say something that will tick off people and get them to turn against you. Democrats may support gay marriage, but a Republican Christian state will not, so you have to be careful. In some cases, there will be an agenda where a Republican will heavily support while the Democrats will not, so you have to be careful what issues you pick and how you speak, or else you might actually end up putting your foot in the mouth. The makers again did a good job, as things like Black Lives Matters to Hillary's email probe are part of the list, and when playing a solo campaign this is okay, but it does become a problem in some of the bigger campaigns in that campaign mode. As you visit more states and put on more ads and try to outspend and out-campaign your opponent, eventually the state maps will start to change color. Also, some states have random events. Some will end up giving you an extra operative that you can move around the board and help you with your message so you can win the elections. Others will cost you a turn, so be careful going after these. The big ones, though, are the media interviews. A parody of the O'Reilly Factor in 60 minutes will have you sit down and give your message and an interview, and if it goes well, your poll numbers will increase. Also, each turn gives you money based on how many campaign headquarters you've built, but also points to spend on extra endorsements and political operatives. Each time you buy an operative, the points needed to purchase the same type again increase. As for endorsements, the more you buy, the more expensive they become. Also, if you're a Republican, it will be easier to get the endorsements from the NRA, but hard to get the endorsement from the National Civil Liberty Unions, and vice versa. But the bonuses these can give are huge and sometimes worth going for. After you wasted all your stamina and your turns, the election night will happen and you will see how many people voted for you. If enough of your side turns the right color, you win. If not, then you lose. And yes, it is possible, and it happened to me the first time I played the game. It is possible to win the popular vote, but lose the electoral vote. Now, what are the problems with this game? Well, first off, the issues aren't really attached to the candidates. Probing Hillary's email is a problem for Hillary Clinton, and I guess you could flip it around and saying having an issue with women is kind of Donald Trump's problems. But it gets worse. If you choose to go through an actual campaign mode, which is multiple campaigns against classic politicians like Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton, again, it would have been funner if they had issues that were more current with the time these candidates were running, like Monica's dress instead of Hillary's email. I should also mention, if you own the last version, updating to the latest one is not really needed, with the exception of better and more current poll data and updated issues to talk about. There's very little difference in the gameplay. Graphically, the game looks okay. I like the bobble-headed characters, and the artist did a good job of making their bigger-than-life political characters into these kind of bobble-headed cartoons. But other than that, the graphics are pretty basic. A map of the USA and some simple animations are all you've seen. The game looks like it could have been made in the late 90s. The music and the sound is okay, but nothing really memorable. No voice acting in the game for any of the politicians or the pundits that you encounter. I don't think it's really needed, but the fact that there is no voice acting does lower it a peg. Again, this is a $10 budget game, though. The political machine will run you $10 on Steam plus about $3 or $4 for the DLC. What do I think of it? Well, it's not the best or worst strategy game I've ever played, and personally I say wait for a half off sale to get this. But if you are a fan of politics, if you want to look at the way elections work, this game does a pretty good job of simplifying it into a pretty decent strategy game that can be somewhat fun. Like I said, wait for a half off sale, put it on your wish list. It's not a great game, it's not a terrible game, but again, it is enough to be educational and somewhat fun. Anyways, this is Tommy the Game Master thanking you for watching. If you would like, I would love to have you click on that symbol of me and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys later.